So I think having clear motivations and a clear sense of purpose is one of the most important aspects of getting things done and doing them well. And I'm sure that at some stage in your life you've had to prioritize things other than just going to the mountains. But perhaps a contributing factor to that is that you didn't have a clear sense of really what you wanted and how bad you wanted it. So in this video, I want to share with you my next big goal and the process that I adopted for choosing that goal. And I hope that it can help you define and get a little bit more clarity about what you want to do in the mountains. Let's get into it. So since my last through hike, I've thought a great deal about what my next goal and what my next kind of obsession could be as I kind of close this chapter of through hiking. I get asked quite often what my next big goal is, and to be honest with you, with everything that's happening with COVID and travel restrictions and plans changing so frequently, I think it's best for me to just stay based here in the Pyrenees and focus on what I have around me. And this is probably not the smartest marketing decision for this channel. I'm sure I would get more hits and more activity if I was out climbing big mountains, you know, the big famous things. But for me, honestly, that kind of stuff doesn't really inspire me. It doesn't really drive me. So I guess that's kind of the first lesson, is to really find out what gives you that fire. You want to get a really clear idea of what excites you. This takes some time, it takes some introspection and sitting down, or perhaps even better, going for a hike and really thinking about what really motivates you to get out there and get into the mountains more frequently. But I think most importantly, whatever you do, just do it for you and not for anyone else. If you're unmotivated, perhaps you need to consider planning for some trips that are really going to challenge you a lot more. Consider setting a goal that's really going to force you to learn and improve and grow. For me, I've been hiking for the better part of 20 years, and over time I've gained a better, clearer picture of what I like to do. And for me, more and more I see myself gravitating more towards ski touring, ski mountaineering, and alpine climbing. And I've had full conversations with myself about this, and not just for the last, 6 months. This is a process that I've been kind of slowly building towards for about 10 years. And I think it really started when I was having a conversation with a friend, and I remember something he said: from here on out, I only want to climb things that I can ski down. So I let that sink in, and I thought deeply and I thought often about the 3 to 4, 5 experiences that really get me excited and really drive me and motivate me to get out into the mountains. And the result is really this kind of list of requirements that I want to have for each big goal that I'm building towards. So I wanted to share these categories with you in the hope that it'll give you a clearer idea and a bit of inspiration that you might need to help you set your next goal and stay motivated. So the first category is year-round improvement. I want to be able to enjoy the mountains in all seasons. I don't want to be restricted to just hiking or through hiking for 3 months of the year throughout summer. I want to be out on the mountains all year round. For me, in the next few months, as we move into spring, that means going out and doing some more classic mountaineering or alpine climbing, making the most of the leftover snow. As we move into summer, I'm probably going to be doing more trail running, still doing a little bit of long distance hiking, and also some nice long scrambling rock climbing routes. Fall and autumn can kind of be a mix of everything depending on the snow cover and what the conditions in the mountains are like. And every winter I really want to be focused on becoming a better skier, and that's what I've been doing over the last 3 months with this break in my YouTube channel, getting out skiing, dialing in my systems for winter mixed climbing, and kind of pulling that all together. The second category is that I want to take ultralight multi-day adventures. Getting out into the mountains for a day is great, but what really fires me up is those more sustained periods of time where I'm out in nature. That allows me to just kind of relax and soak it in a bit. So whatever I'm doing, I want to explore, camp, hike, climb, ski, up and down and around the mountains. I think wild camping is a true skill and something that is definitely an underrated skill. And even though I've spent many nights in a tent, there are certain skills that I need to improve, like setting up camps in the snow, selecting the best campsites in wintry conditions, and just kind of building more confidence and more skills in the winter environment, because as an Australian, I'm not super accustomed to that. I think one of the best skills that I've picked up from through hiking is the art of bringing only what you need and nothing you don't. And I think that definitely comes with experience and time. As a beginner, my advice would be to plan and prepare for the worst, But as you build more skills and as you build more experience, you can certainly let go of a lot of those things and continually get lighter and lighter. And with that comes, for me, a greater sense of freedom. So I really want to take all that I've learned from the world of ultralight through hiking and apply it to everything I do, from trad climbing to ski touring and everything in between. I want to go fast and light because I've become kind of addicted to that as a result of being a through hiker. And the great thing about going fast and light is that you can adapt based on the conditions. Not carrying a lot means that if the weather turns, you've got a much better chance of being able to get out of there faster and safer. And so that's another motivating factor for me to go as light as possible. The third category is that I want my adventures to be technically challenging in a sense. The technical aspects of mountaineering are absolutely endless. Depending on the route, the conditions, this could range from low-level scrambling to fairly steep traditional climbing, and if weather permits and if it's in season, climbing mixed rock, snow and ice. And that's really where the element of challenge comes in. I want to struggle, I want to suffer, I want to be challenged, I want to be scared a little bit on the routes that I'm climbing, and hiking doesn't really have all of those elements combined. So for me, it's about pushing myself a little bit, and that's going to require me to grow up in some areas. I'm going to have to learn more skills, I'm going to have to practice my systems and build knowledge and put more time in on the more basic things. These processes of belaying, setting up good anchors, selecting the right route, and if necessary, bailing off the route safely. All of these things have to be improved if I'm going to get out and do this and do it well and do it often and do it safely. So for me, that means I've got to do a lot more rock climbing, especially through the spring and the summer when there's no winter climbing. And it means I'm probably going to be out of my terrace practicing my rope work, building anchors and dialing in those systems at home and as often as I can. The fourth category, something I really love, is fast descents. For me, a big part of going out into the mountains is that battle against gravity, and coming down I find so rewarding. If you've seen any of my other YouTube videos, you'll see me quite often like running with a backpack or running quite fast down if I'm doing trail running, and there's no better way or no faster way to get down a mountain than on skis. So for me, when I'm coming down, I'm looking for that element of speed. If it's in the winter, it's going to be on skis. If it's not snowy conditions, I'm going to be trail running or ultralight hiking. I want to bring that element into all of the adventures that I have because it's fun as hell. I love coming down fast, and also I find it relatively easy to reach that flow state when I'm coming downhill with the assistance of gravity. I find it very easy to just really zone into my body, to absorb the environment, and a lot of the time I'm coming down with a big smile on my face, so that's a huge element for me. The fifth and final category, and perhaps the most important one, is that I want to be exploring wild places. I love that feeling of being in a completely wild environment, far away from roads and humans in general. So for me, moving forward, I want to be in the wildest places possible and discovering new places that I haven't been to. That's what really inspired me to get into long distance hiking, and I'm really thankful for that experience and the practice that I had over the last couple of years, doing those 2 crossings of the Pyrenees and getting to know my local mountain range a lot more. I think that knowledge and the familiarity that I have with the mountain range is something that really drives me, and it's also going to be really useful knowledge. I mean, what better way to know the mountain terrain than to see it in the bare bones of summer when there's no snow anywhere? I think if you learn a mountain in summer, that's a huge advantage when it comes to other seasons. And so being a foreigner here, I really want to get to know all of these far-flung, hard-to-reach places in my home mountain range, and I want to know them as well as any local and in all seasons. Skiing on piste or climbing at a local crag is fun, but it doesn't really fire me up in the same way. Does that mean that I'm never going to ski on piste or climb at a crag? Of course not. I like to think of those as really like the practice run. I want to challenge myself and build skills in a controlled environment like skiing on the piste or climbing at a crag in order to kind of hone my skills and become a better skier or a better climber. So that way, when I actually get out into the quote-unquote real mountains, I've developed those skills and I've got a little bit more confidence in my abilities. But for the most part, I want to be well off the grid, way away from crowds, and I want to be out there experiencing what's left of the really true wild places out in nature. So they are my 5 categories of things that really motivate me to get out and keep pushing myself. So I encourage you to think about what you value in your trips and make a bit of a list like this. It could be really helpful for you to get some clarity and to drive you and push you forward. But in terms of an actual tangible goal, what I'm working towards is probably not going to be achieved until next year. But the ideal route would be the new M4 mixed snow, rock, ice route on the north face of Pico de Estats. It's only been achieved once, maybe twice, so ideally I'd love to take that route, climb it with skis on my back, and then ski down. I need to become a faster runner, I need to become a better skier, a better outdoors person. On top of that, I need to be strong, I need to be fast, light, I need to be flexible and mobile, and that's where really focused training comes in. My overarching long-term goal is for me to build a better body that is capable of more things in the mountains. And if you're interested in that, then I would recommend checking out some of my programs. You'll see the link in the description. And I think a lot of this stuff will still apply to the world of hiking, but if you are interested in more of the mountaineering side of things, then I recommend checking out this video, which dives into a little bit more information around how you can get into mountaineering. Thanks for watching. That's all from me. I'll see you on the summit. It's good to be back.